Hello, and welcome to today's webinar on recent developments in conceptual design technologies, specifically FormIt 360, Dynamo, FormIt 360 Pro, all of which can be incorporated into your BIM workflow. This webinar is brought to you by Live Lab Learning, which is a subsidiary of Academic Corp, a wholly owned applied software company created to provide world-class training. This is Karen Greisman, and I'm delighted to be your moderator today. Throughout our presentation, we encourage you to interact with us by typing in questions and comments using the questions pane. We will be answering questions at the end of the presentation. This webinar is being recorded and will be available to you online on our YouTube channel. Please take note of our upcoming events. Next week in Florida, we will be co-sponsoring the BIM Forum event in Orlando. And join us on October 20th from 6:30 to 9 p.m. for our BIM and Beer networking event in Orlando as well. This will be hosted by our Construction Technology Group. Then we will have a webinar on vehicle tracking and InfoWorks on October 22nd. Now it is time for me to introduce our presenter today. Rabi Sadawi has been in AEC industry for over 25 years with experience in architectural design, project management, consulting, and as an adjunct professor. During his 10 years at Applied Software as a consultant and educator, he has received the highest ratings from students, earning him the Authorized Training Center Instructor of the Year award in the U.S. He is an active participant in Revit users groups and has presented at Autodesk University as well as at various AIA BIM conferences. Sustainable design, technology, and integrated project delivery are his passion, and he is an expert on Autodesk building products. Please join me in welcoming today's speaker, Rabi Sadawi.
Thanks, Karen. Let's go over the agenda of today's webinar. We'll be talking about recent developments in conceptual design technologies and what's Autodesk new conceptual design solution for these technologies. How is BIM changing the building industry in design, and what are the new challenges that are being seen? How does computational design factor in, and what are the benefits of computational design? And what is Autodesk's computational design solution? We also talk about how is the technology is being used in the industry over the building life cycle. We'll start off with Autodesk FormIt 360. So as you know, the world is changing very fast, and people today are mobile. They move around. Not everyone is sitting back at their desk anymore, but rather they carry iPads, Android tablets, laptops to the job site, or use them while waiting at airports. Designers are still using dated methods for conceptual design, such as hand drawings or digital sketching, disconnected from BIM tools. Also, Revit users can over-detail, as you know, in conceptual design. Instead, the focus should be on capturing design intent, concepts, and constraints through an intuitive, iterative process with visual fidelity and analysis. So Autodesk FormIt 360 can be defined as a cloud-based product that captures ideas when they strike, giving designers more freedom with connectivity to the BIM process through the Autodesk 360 A360 drive. FormIt 360 promotes creativity, reduces rework, enables bidirectional file sharing, and real-time collaboration. And of course, it's 100% Revit compatible. Mobility is how we work today as designers, engineers, construction managers. It doesn't matter what tool we use. We could be using iPads, Android tablets, iPhones, web applications. What matters is that this information that's being created, these models, these sketches, all come together into one place, and that the best place for that would be A360, because all of these devices are connected to A360. A360 is the hub of the activity and is software agnostic. It doesn't matter what software you use. So FormIt is one of those tools that we will be talking about today. Here's a quick video of a study that we did, applied software for Lanikai Beach residents. We basically used Google Maps, Google Earth to zoom in on that property, pulled in a footprint, floor plan for that house, and started to build these conceptual masses inside of FormIt. And that was actually done a few years ago. The ease of use is obvious here, being able to add, subtract masses, add gable roofs, and integrate all those into this design process. What's not shown in this video is the reorientation of the house to the north orientation. So the question is, who is FormIt 360 for? We know from experience that designers use napkin sketches, sketchbooks, even digital design sketches, but the problem with that is that this design process is fragmented, and it is hard to take these sketches from a 2D concept design to a 3D concept design, and even more challenging is to integrate that with the current BIM process. So, of course, the idea here is that FormIt 360 gives you the design freedom that you will need as a designer to provide that design intent to your team. We see here an iterative design process going all the way from FormIt to Revit to the actual construction of the building. In FormIt, you're describing design intent through 2D and 3D sketches, adding materials, even adding components such as furniture and casework. Taking it to Revit, you're developing the design to the next level, and taking it to the construction job site is building it exactly for the design intent. This iterative design process is essential to the success of the design. So with FormIt 360, basically you're designing anytime, anywhere, using any device. Let's take a look at this quick video that will show us how, using just your fingers, you can use an iPad and bring in even libraries from Revit and populate your model with these components. You can start in 2D or 3D sketching. But what's even more important is the ability to take this model and use it in any platform you want, such as Android tablets, laptops, and even the Mac users can benefit from this FormIt workflow. Very intuitive. You can even, using advanced tools, add solar studies and energy analysis that will simulate the performance of the building, whether it's lighting or HVAC or other criteria that you would need for the success of the design process. So what are some of the things that users do with FormIt 360 Pro? As we said before, FormIt 360 Pro adds the functionality of solar and energy analysis, and we're here seeing two users collaborating together using the same model. Whatever user A is doing, then user B is seeing on a different device, such as the iPad and web application. So collaboration is essential because it promotes thinking and promotes optimization of the process. As I mentioned earlier, solar analysis and energy analysis are integrated into this FormIt 360 Pro, which add more functionality to the process. Let's take a look at this video that shows us how solar and energy analysis work.
New FormIt 360 Pro offers integrated energy and solar analysis to allow you to analyze your building's performance early in the design process. FormIt 360 Pro Energy Analysis applies the energy cost range to your FormIt conceptual mass to provide high-level targeting and feasibility of energy performance from the earliest stages of the design process. An energy analytical model is automatically created from your conceptual mass forms. A key part of this process unique to FormIt 360 Pro is the creation of thermal zones based on ASHRAE 90.1 guidelines. The energy cost range compares and is driven by individual factors, each of which relate to different aspects of building design and operation that influence overall building energy use. The range of factors and values simulated, in addition to how they are combined and represented in the energy cost range, provides immediate cause and effect feedback so that you can quickly appreciate opportunities for higher performance. Navigate through the factor widgets by clicking on them, then moving the sliders to choose an option or a range of options. The energy cost range will update based upon your selection as an indicator of how sensitive the project is to each of these factors. The ECR also includes the Architecture 2030 benchmark for your project. This benchmark provides a way to understand the relative performance of your project by comparing it to this popular target. A history widget also tracks your energy cost range as you update. In addition to energy analysis, FormIt 360 Pro also includes solar analysis. You can iterate through different times of year to understand the distribution and intensity of solar radiation on various areas of your conceptual mass. With FormIt 360 Pro, you can make informed design decisions early in the design process that will help you achieve high-performance goals. Check it out now, let us know your thoughts, and help us continue to shape the future of making higher-performing and more sustainable buildings.
This was a good overview of solar and energy analysis. You've seen how easy it was to select different surfaces of the building and allow the program to compute the solar energy received on these different surfaces. So what are some of the things that are changing in the building industry using building information modeling? There's 5 trends. The first is conceptual design. Architects, engineers are challenged with complex form, and conceptual design is no longer how it used to be in the past. Architects would like to do something a little bit more complex, and that uses some organic shapes, for example, for curtain systems. Connected design is another one. Being able to see the impact of certain components in the building that impact other components that are attached to those. Being able to go through iterative design process. Ubiquitous simulation, the ability to simulate any part of the building for any purpose, whether it's structural, mechanical, electrical, or energy, and understand the performance of these components under different loadings. Distributed project teams. We now work in a world economy where businesses have offices all over the world, or they are joint venturing with other teams elsewhere in the country or around the world. And of course, prefabrication. The design process is no longer detached from the construction process, and therefore whatever is being utilized in the BIM process is being used by the construction professionals to build a building. Such complex curtain systems, for example, visible on the right side of the screen, cannot be just built using 2D drawings. It also cannot be built with traditional way of building. There has to be a better process for fabrication. And fabricating straight from the BIM model is a definite solution for accuracy and efficiency. We're about to take a look at a new product called Dynamo Studio. And this will have some music and it represents a case study for a train station. So let's take a look. This was a good case study for Dynamo Studio, and of course, Dynamo Studio are applications that uses visual programming or scripting in the design process that will allow for a study of a certain aspect of this design. What you saw earlier in the case study was a study of the facade or the curtain or the roof structure of the building, and that allows the ability to let the computer do all the hard work and figure out the subtleties between different shapes of the panels mathematically, and because it's just not feasible as for the individual to do that manually. So it automates the repetitive process of the study of the design. Here is an example of a use of Dynamo in the construction phase of the project, using, in this case, the logistics that are challenges displayed by the crane, for example. When a construction crane is being erected on the job site, how do we know that the capacity of the crane and the lift range and radius is appropriate for the components that are being designed in the building? So a different application for Dynamo in the construction process. Another application would be in the prefabrication phase of the project, where the designer is trying to maintain design intent and deliver that to the construction team. The construction team will be able also to take that straight from the BIM model and send it to the CNC machine for cutting purposes, for example. What are some of the new challenges after we've heard all these different trends? And in regards to the knowledge, visual programming is presented as a challenge and as a solution to the challenge that by the increasing need to maintain early design knowledge. People need to know early, and by doing a virtual design like that, you'll be able to know in advance what are the constraints and what are the different parameters of the project. The need to improve transition from concept to design. The need for more information tools to reduce rework, and the need for easier modeling, visualization, and analysis tools are all challenges for the design team. So how does computational design factor in? Well, what computational design brings into the mix is a rule-based parametric design. You've seen how the application that was Dynamo or Dynamo Studio was able to deal with complex geometry with very little ease and able to take care of the minor changes between different components in the geometry. So applying rule-based behavior and logic to the model is what Dynamo does. It adds rules via visual or scripting interface. It builds a system rather than just a model. And any part of the system that is being modified affects all the other parts of the system. It extends to other applications. The solution helps reduce struggle in early design phase. It eases the ability to design complex geometry. It improves designers' overall capabilities. We see a graph on the right-hand side of the screen or some of the benefits. The maximum benefit you can get out of this would be to enhance the design capabilities, but also not too bad as far as enhancing the BIM capabilities and overcoming conceptual and design and modeling challenges. So why should you consider Autodesk Dynamo Studio, which is, as I said before, is a standalone application that works with any software for design. But some of the key values and benefits include quickly exploring parametric design concepts, easily analyze and visualize geometry, and effectively work with project teams using other tools. So parametric design concepts provide rapid tests, iterations, and study multiple design options in less time. They solve complex geometric problems. No programming experience is needed. And this is important for designers. Most of us designers are not trained in computer science. So we need something a little bit more user-friendly and visual to be able to handle the complexity of the geometry. Automating repetitive tasks for more precision and speed, and managing risks by exposing trade-offs and understanding systems and connections at the conceptual phase. That is, when you change one component in the system will respond by modifying all the other components slightly. Generating sophisticated designs from simple data, logic, and analysis is what this is about. Let's take a look at a quick video sketch that shows how you can actually work with Dynamo from scratch. Here we have a hand sketch with using pen and paper. It shows that train station in conceptual format. Moving on to Dynamo, you're defining the ground levels, the heights, the primary structure, and the roof structure or secondary structure. So how does Dynamo deal with that? We start off with simple commands such as rectangle, such as integer. You have these slide rules that you can use to create relationships between different components such as planes, length and width of the rectangle. By sliding these slide rules, you'll be able to manage the height, the width, and the length of these components dynamically in real time. That adds another dimension of ease of use to the designer. The visual programming is visual by nature, so you're not dealing with complex formulas, you're just dealing with visual parameters. You can adjust for aesthetic purposes and then look for certain features such as the structural angle, the roof pitch, the level, the floor, the slab thickness. All of these are important parameters in the design process. Doing that manually would require an enormous amount of time. So you can see the benefit right away by utilizing these visual methods. So analyzing, visualizing, and collaborating using these tools is easy. Accessing a geometry library to create solids and surfaces, which is built into the tool. And does not, you don't need actually a geometric application to use Dynamo Studio. That's the beauty of it. So it can be utilized independent from Revit, for example. Working live in shared collaborative environment without the need for export. And you can communicate with applications from further inside, including Revit, Robot, Rhino, Navisworks, FormIt 360, SAP 2000, Excel, Google, etc. So it's basically tool agnostic. You can design parametric geometry that translates into Revit families. That's important. Let's take a look at what does it mean to use Dynamo Studio over the building life cycle. You got all the way from the left-hand side, conceptual design, to the right-hand side for operations and maintenance. In concept design, architects and engineers can use Dynamo Studio for large projects such as stadium bowls, daylighting analysis, and programming analysis. In design, it can be used for sheet management and content management. In detailing and fabrication, detailers, engineers, and trade professionals can use it for fabrication, what-if scenarios, as well as curtain wall fabrication and shop drawings. For pre-construction and field execution, VDC managers, schedulers, estimators, superintendents, field supervisors, safety QA/QC professionals, and trade professionals and surveyors can use Dynamo in different ways. One of them would be to manage concrete pours, for example. In operations and maintenance, FM professionals can use it for areas and studying drive-through simulations and retail layouts. So as an architect, what does this mean to you? It means better design for buildings. You can study more design options, communicate better with clients, understand energy design based on rules, design more freely, and extend power of Revit. As an engineer, you become a better problem solver. You can study more design options, rationalize systems, excuse me, access the API to customize design, and look into the visual spreadsheet design that's intuitive to engineers, manage risk and creativity of clients, and as a construction professional, you can build better buildings, understand system connections, understand timeframes for construction, variables and alternative means and methods for construction, and system rationalization. As a conclusion to this webinar, please remember that FormIt 360 and Dynamo Studio gives you more freedom for your design, creativity, and reduce rework. You get more precision during conceptual design process, and intelligence. It adds intelligence to parametric conceptual design. You get better real-time design collaboration for distributed teams, and above all, performance-based design for earlier impact. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Karen for any questions.
So if anybody has any more questions, please type them into the box on the right now. In the meantime, I have a few questions. And can you tell me the difference between FormIt 360 and FormIt 360 Pro?
Yes, Karen. So FormIt 360 is basically a free application that can be downloaded from the Autodesk website, and it can be utilized to do the 2D or 3D sketching and mass modeling. FormIt 360 Pro allows users to add the functionality of solar analysis and energy analysis.
And what is the difference between Dynamo and Dynamo Studio?
That's a good question. Dynamo was conceived initially for Autodesk applications as a free download that was added into Revit. Autodesk have included Dynamo as part of the installation for Revit 2016. So those of you who have installed Revit 2016, probably noticed that under the Add-in tab for Revit, there's a new Dynamo add-in. But Dynamo Studio is tool agnostic. It can work with any software such as Navisworks, FormIt, SAP 2000, and Robot, and other applications. So if you're a mechanical engineer or a structural engineer or an architect that would like to use third-party applications such as Rhino, Dynamo Studio is just the right tool for you.
Okay, and how does FormIt content arrive in Revit?
There is an application, an add-in for Revit that is installed alongside with FormIt use. So you'll be able to exchange files back and forth between FormIt and Revit and back to FormIt.
Okay, well, thank you, Robbie, for the presentation. And if you haven't already, please search Live Lab Learning on Facebook and like our page to receive the latest information and special offers on our training. And thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you have found this webinar informative and a help to your business.